talking about DNA, we're talking about purpose, we're also talking about different models. And I think with that, I'm really honored to invite one of our keynote speakers, Humaid Al-Shamari, to come and join us on stage. And Humaid is Deputy Chief Executive of Mubadala, which is one of the world's largest sovereign wealth fund. So again, here we have an organization with a deep sense of purpose, a deep vision, very long-term vision, and a very different business model, doing some extraordinary things. So with that, Humaid, please come to the stage.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor and privilege to be with you here in London and attending this Eco Summit for 2019. As a global investment company, it is especially appropriate that we acknowledge the strength of our UK ties, with Mubadala presence across a variety of industries, such as aerospace, where we have partnered with Rolls-Royce since 2013. And in healthcare, through our joint venture with Imperial College of London to run a world-class diabetes center in the UAE in Abu Dhabi, and through our renewable energy company, Masdar, where we also partnered and invested in an offshore wind farm here in the UK, where the UK became a world leader in that industry. As Mubadala has evolved and as business has become more global, we recognize the necessity to get closer to the markets we operate in, with an expanding presence in Sao Paulo, Hong Kong, San Francisco, and most recently New York. We are strategically positioned with the establishment of operational offices in these markets. In this regard, expanding and deepening our ties with the UK is paramount. The world is changing rapidly, and expectations of leaders is too. As we discuss how rapidly advancing technologies, shifting demographics, and increasing globalization bring both benefits and challenges, we are hearing more and more the need to offer economic and social growth to which everyone can contribute and from which everyone can benefit. Expectations that the CEOs will speak out on issues of the day are high, and several recent studies documented strong public support for corporate activism. For example, as stated earlier, the Edelman's annual Global Trust Parameter for 2019, which found that 71% of employees believe that it is critically important for the CEOs to respond to challenging times. But their trust must be earned through more than business as usual. Further, 76% of the general population want CEOs to take the lead on change rather than waiting for action from governments. Equal pay, discrimination, training, and the environment and data privacy are all cited as areas where business leaders can make positive change. The Business Roundtable recent update definition of the purpose of a company could make a turning point for the CEOs as they committed to investing in employees, supporting communities, and dealing ethically with suppliers, as well as generating long-term value for shareholders, while delivering value for customers. It is the utmost importance for us to be thinking about how organizations and leaders can become champions for future generations. So for those who don't know Mubadala, Mubadala was established to realize a vision of the founding father of the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. Central to this is the continuing growth and diversification of the economy, which lays the foundation for a thriving nation. We are helping to deliver on this vision by making significant long-term investments in industries that are driving financial returns and strategic value for Abu Dhabi. Mubadala portfolio spans more than 50 countries in about 15 sectors, with interest in aerospace, ICT, semiconductors, metals and mining, renewable energy, oil, gas and petrochemicals, utilities, healthcare, real estate, pharmaceuticals, and medical technology, agribusiness, and a global portfolio of financial holdings. While Mubadala has evolved to become genuinely a global investor, its strategy builds on the heritage of diversification and development for Abu Dhabi and the UAE. Central to this is Mubadala's partnership approach. Partnerships are at the core of everything we do. It is in our DNA, and without it, we wouldn't be able to do what we were achieving at a global scale today. With our partners, we drive value in key sectors that create jobs of the future and foster business opportunities that strengthen our existing economic and social infrastructure. Our international investments are supporting the further integration of Abu Dhabi into the global economy, and the depth and breadth of our partnerships are contributing to the attractiveness of Abu Dhabi as an FDI destination. In the tech space, for instance, our involvement in helping facilitate Hub 71, Abu Dhabi tech ecosystem for startups and VCs, is in part a result of the ties we have with the likes of SoftBank Vision Fund and our connectivity across our global network of partners. With new offices in key markets like New York, San Francisco, and now a team based here in London, we are building exposure for our local workforce to global businesses and investment strategies. This knowledge and experience is helping build the leaders of the future of the UAE. In addition, having built major industrial ecosystems in areas such as aerospace and metals, we are creating job opportunities for UAE nationals at home. So for example, Strata Manufacturing, our aerospace composite manufacturing business, where the UAE nationals make over 50% of the workforce, and where 90% of that are females. As a global investor, we understand how changes due to globalization, changing demographics, advances in technology, and regulatory shifts are deeply impacting the sectors and countries our portfolio spans. We also know that it's essential to create value for multiple stakeholders. Ultimately, shareholder value remains a priority, but it cannot be separated from the organization impact on people, communities, and beyond. Investing with impact is a major component of Mubadala's strategy, and we are committed to the long-term positive enhancement of society in the UAE and overseas. We also encourage our portfolio companies to make positive differences in the communities where they operate. Our impact in action can be seen in the many community investment projects, and I'll give one example of that. Mubadala and the Investment Corporation of Dubai jointly own a company called Emirates Global Aluminum, one of the largest aluminum companies in the world. And it owns Guinea Alumina Corporation, a mining company in the Republic of Guinea, West Africa. Even before a commercially commercially taken a single kilogram of bauxite out of the ground in Guinea. Guinea Alumina Corporation has built 12 schools, now attended by 5,600 children, eight healthcare facilities, ran a healthcare awareness campaign that have reached more than 90,000 people on critical threats such as malaria and other preventive diseases. They have invested more than $3 million to develop 150 people in mining skills, including mechanics, electrical engineering, and mine maintenance to boost their employability in the industry. We've running adult literacy program for over 1,500 people, protected 1,000 hectares of land from saltwater intrusion, and helping local farmers boost their rice production by 430%, planting more than 3,000 fruit trees. Mubadala's historic and future success, in our mind, is dependent on our single most important asset. Who said earlier? People. A cliche, I know, but we do believe actually in that. Our values are at the core of everything we do at Mubadala. They shape our corporate culture and define the character of our organization. Internally, they define exemplary behavior. We have a yearly recognized program. We have a yearly recognition program which continues to recognize and celebrate Mubadala's people who have found inspiring and impactful ways to bring our mandate to life. Externally, our values serve as a benchmark for aligning with the like-minded partners who share our commitment to the best-in-class corporate governance, transparency, ethics, and world-class standards. Mubadala recently introduced an employee volunteering program. Being cognate or conscious that such initiatives are powerful levers in creating common sense of purpose, a compelling workplace culture, and are an important vehicle for us to contribute positively to our local communities. This is equally important as we look to attract, retain, engage today's socially conscious and multi-generational workforce. As we expand the number and range of volunteering opportunities, it will become easier for our people to find and get involved in initiatives that suit their skills, knowledge, experience, and most importantly, passion. As a responsible corporate citizen, we remain committed to driving action that minimizes the negative impact of our businesses where we operate. Our global scale enables us to take measurable action to work in a more sustainable manner to create lasting positive impact. We have taken great measures to minimize environmental impact across our organization, from workplace energy and resource efficiency, to business travel, to building partnerships with the local communities in our own and portfolio companies, to create a positive impact on the environment. One of the examples we are very proud of is Mubadala Petroleum, which is an international upstream oil and gas exploration and production company with significant operations in the Gulf of Thailand. Through its CSR program, it has supported coastal mangrove reforestation projects and the creation of artificial reefs, turtle and crab banks, as well as coral restoration projects, which cultures corals in a laboratory environment, then are transplanted back into the degraded reefs. To date, over 2,000 healthy young corals have been transplanted into the new reefs in the Gulf of Thailand. Nova Chemical is a North American leading producer of chemical products used in the production of plastics. The company recently joining an alliance of global leaders to advance solutions to reduce plastic waste in the environment, specifically ocean plastic. Borealis, headquarters in Austria, is a leading provider of innovative solutions in base chemical and fertilizers. Its efforts include the launch of a communication platform serving to streamline all Borealis recycling activities, and Project STOP, aimed to eliminating the leakage of plastic into the oceans in Southeast Asia while increasing recycling. The world today is changing faster than it ever has, and the role also of businesses is changing. I will conclude with the interdependency between businesses and society will grow stronger and more vital to both corporate success and social prosperity. Can companies advance social progress and make profit at the same time? Indeed, they can. As some of the examples we have illustrated today, businesses, no matter how big or small, have the power to transform society and make profit in the process. It comes down to identifying the issues and challenges that organizations are best to help equipped to help solve for and from which themselves gain the greatest shared value, whether it's through employee volunteering, cultivating inclusion, advancing sustainability, committee engagement, talent development, or charitable giving. At Mubadala, we have worked hard to achieve the benefits and opportunities our investments create at home and in our operations overseas. As we build on the momentum of a responsible company, we drive forward a sustainable economic future. We will actively encourage our stakeholders to also play their part. This in itself makes this summit an extremely important day for discussion and an opportunity to share ideas about the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamid. And having had the privilege of being at one of Mubadala's chief executive fora about a year and a half ago, and I saw the impact of Mubadala, particularly on renewables, and your involvement with solar flight, and all the innovations that are going there, very much driven and powered by Mubadala, and your commitment to different forms of both of energy, but also all sorts of different ways of engaging with both the population within the UAE, Abu Dhabi obviously, but also UAE more broadly, and also internationally. And I think what was interesting, particularly for you to be involved with us today, is Mubadala has been put forward as one of the best examples of state-directed capitalism, with a long-term vision, with insight, and obviously with the resources to direct those resources and energies. And I wondered, perhaps to start with the first question, is over the last 5 years, have you seen a change in the priorities that you're addressing that perhaps you didn't have 10 years ago?
Well, I think the markets and the dynamics around us globally have changed. So as a global player, we had to adjust with them. What stays consistent for us throughout the creation of Mubadala, which was created in 2002, so a very young organization, is that value for the UAE economy is important. A long-term view of investment is also paramount in the things we do. As I said earlier, partnership and finding the right partner in the right industry is also paramount and important for us. we have always been conscious about the reputation of Abu Dhabi and the UAE in the things we do. So we are ambassadors. Yes, we are great custodians of our assets and investments, but we are also great ambassadors of the impression and the impact the United Arab Emirates and Abu Dhabi specifically is trying to do on the globe. We believe that positive investment is important, partnership is important, and wherever we go, we add value. We definitely have that mentality where we will not invest in something that doesn't make sense financially, but also strategically. We will not invest in areas where it is not add value to whoever we're, to the UAE and or to the countries or industries where we invest. So the dynamic in our model has not changed, the basic model. Now, how do we communicate? How do we, integrate into the communities? Definitely has changed. And it is not because we've evolved, but it's because we got more involved. 70% of our investments now sits outside of the UAE. At the beginning of our creation, a lot of it actually was about partnering and investing in the UAE. But now we have evolved where the majority of our investment sits outside of the UAE, so different regulations, different communities, different demographics, needs of those communities that we're investing in. So we had to also address those needs. And some of these examples are, very apparent of how we take that seriously. We don't just go there to rip, where the benefits of whatever investments and take it back to Abu Dhabi. No, we're here for a long term. We want to make sure that there is a positive impact to our investment on the local communities, and then share that knowledge back to the UAE.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. We have time for a few questions from the audience. Any perspectives? Please. You can just wait for a mic to come.
I thought I was going to get off. Gosh darn it.
Claire Maloney from Keck CNC. Thank you for sharing some of the shared value initiatives. The photography was very inspiring. What do you see as your next greatest challenge? Where do you go from here? How do you continue to drive forward in that vision? What keeps you awake at night?
Well, I take a lot of medicines to sleep, so nothing kills me. Kidding. Listen, at the end of the day, we are custodians of great amount of money for the government of Abu Dhabi. And we want to make sure that we invest it in the right sectors at the right time and the right methodology. So that is very essential to what we do. It is my job and my role to make sure that every single individual in my company and my portfolio companies across 50 countries is engaged. So that is really the drive of where I want to go. I want to make sure that everyone is contributing their ideas, their concerns, and we address them. Now, as a big organization over 50 countries, it's not the easiest of things, but I want to make sure that I empower the boards, the CEOs of my assets to make sure that they have all of the right methodology to address those concerns. Our people are at the heart of what we do in Mubadala, in Abu Dhabi and globally. And I think if we can tap into all their brain cells, brain power, we will be very successful.
Fantastic. And I know you have Chief Human Capital Officer within your title as well, so I know you believe in that. Ray, just mic is coming to you.
Hi, I'm Ray Jordan with Amgen, a US-based biotech company. From a conversation earlier today, actually, it was with Jan at Intermatrix, we were talking about the risks that acquisitions bring to a company that may have a behavioral, cultural style. With your dependency on partnerships, and especially in multiple regions, how do you manage that risk, and how do you sort of keep a culture vibrant across the organization?
Very great question. I think it is essential for us to make sure that we find the right partner at the beginning. Part of the deficiency is we can't manage an investment in Canada or Sao Paulo or even Thailand sitting in Abu Dhabi and saying that we have all of the knowledge, all of the capabilities to be able to manage it successfully across whatever circumstances they might face. So finding the right partner like-minded partner. They can't be Mubadala, but at least they share a common set of values and strategy with us. Once we've identified that partner, then the rest is really in execution. So that is the most difficult part of our job, is finding and identifying that partner that share those values with us. We then work together on creating the plan, and then we work with the organization. Now, 50 countries and saying we have a common culture, I don't think everybody has to say that I'm telling the truth here, but we want to at least make sure that the big titles are there. You know, accountability, inspiration, integrity. Those are important for us. Now, the different circumstances of the industry and the jurisdiction, the culture, are things that also we're willing to tweak based on that. So a flexible template that we've always been proud of in Mubadala has been very successful. Not everything is created equally.
And perhaps
Am I enticing more questions with the
a
answers?
last question here.
It's all your fault.
It's not really a question. For the non-Arab speakers in the room, please say what Mubadala means, because that actually says your values very loudly.
Oh yeah. Actually, the first question, normally, this is speech 101. I'm not comfortable reading out of a card. I think all of you sense that. I'm off-the-cuff speaker in general. But that's generally the first joke I actually state is, can you pronounce Mubadala? And we've heard, 10 versions of the pronunciation. But Mubadala in Arabic actually means exchange. So, and that was the fundamental value that was created. We're exchanging investment capabilities with strategy and capabilities and know-how back into Abu Dhabi. It was based on a vision that was established, we announced in 2008, but we had worked on it a long time before that, of 2030 vision in Abu Dhabi. And with all honesty, you don't see a lot of governments that come with 22 years of a strategy. And it was based on a knowledge-based economy. And the whole idea is we're going to invest our money to bring back knowledge, technologies that will set up our economy, our nation for the next 100 years. Oil will always be there. We are a big producer. We are the 5th largest oil reserve globally, and it will last us for many, many years. But we don't want to depend on one commodity. We really want to tap into the brain power of the UAE nationals and the expatriates who love the UAE and call the UAE home every single day. That's where Mubadala comes from.
Great question and wonderful way to end our first part of our afternoon session. And I think everyone in the room will be very jealous of the long-range strategy and planning that you enjoy. But thank you.
Thank you.